invite April back to join Juanes in the panel as we will move forward to our top requested stocks round. So for this one, the TRS round, we will go through the 15 most requested stocks that your audience requested. And one by one, we will flash a chart of the stock. And Juanes and April will flash their paddles to say whether or not they like or dislike the stock that is in question. So please note as a disclaimer that these are their personal views and are short-term in nature and are focused more on the immediate drivers of each stock. And we also want to stay faithful to our allotted time. So Juanes, April, I know we met on this last Wednesday. So please note that this will be a speed round, meaning I would like you guys to make your answers as succinct as you can, rapid fire statements, so that we could also go through a lot of these. So, okay, if the team is ready, could we start flashing out our top requested stocks? All right. So the first one is PLDT. All right. Sorry, can we see your paddles? All right. Juanes likes and April also likes. All right. So maybe since ladies first, we can go to technicals first. Sorry, fundamentals first and then technicals. So April?
Yeah, okay. So first, it's defensive. Second, the reason why we did not include that in our top picks is because its mobile business was being somewhat hurt by high inflation. But since inflation is no longer an issue, prospects should be better this year. In general, the mobile industry is improving because of improving competitive environment.
Okay, thanks, April. So I think it was removed from calling the shots, but April still has a positive view on it. One is PLDT.
Yeah, well, it looks like PLDT is trying in advance to already generate a base. And given the context, it's had a threefold swing. That should be good enough to be able to try to prop it up, and hopefully it can generate a rally back between 1335 and 4. Sorry, that's 1450, not 145, 1450.
Okay.
So a potential reversal could be coming soon.
All right. Thanks, Juanes. Can we see the next stock? All right. Ayala Land. Like or dislike? 1, 2, 3. Juanes likes. Okay. And April dislikes. All right. So I think the dislike is going to be a bit interesting. April?
Yeah, I mean, in general, I talked about the property sector currently encountering challenges in terms of high inventory of residential condominiums. And well, I know that Ayala Land is more on high end, so less vulnerable, but still, I mean, the residential business accounts for a big chunk of the operating profits. And sentiment also, I do agree that it is really cheap right now, but I feel like if it rallies, it might be limited because of the poor sentiment caused by the challenges faced by the residential sector and also the offices right now. According to the property consultants, the current vacancy level of around 18% is going to stay the same in up to 2026.
Okay. All right. And Juanes?
Well, I guess only looking at it for a potential rally, and since we're coming closer to the major support area, which is between 2450 and 24, and it seems to be parking here already, there might be an attempt to be able to generate a potential temporary bottom for Ali. So right now, like I pointed out earlier, I'm only looking at two things: extreme weakness for some stocks, and of course, either strong issues. And I think we're coming towards the extreme type of selling in here, which can potentially generate a recovery. Although I do share April's negative conditions, this will be a short-term rally. It's not going to generate an uptrend for me.
Okay, and in that regard, one is at least just to help our listeners also. If you buy it today, where would you target the profits?
All right, so their idea is between 2450 and 24 with a target of 28, maybe 30 being the max.
All right, great. Thanks for that, Juanes. Okay, can we see our next stock? All right, Semirara, do we like or dislike? Juanes and April. Okay, they both like. Yeah, April.
Yeah, I mean, this one's a bit controversial in the sense that, of course, it will be negatively affected by falling coal prices or weak coal prices. But at the same time, if you look at the dividend yield, well, it's just 17%, and the capital appreciation potential is also 52%. So I was like, well, I mean, if you really think about it, that's what they talk about when they say no stock is just if a stock's cheap, you have to beware about shorting it because again, if they pay out 17% cash dividends and you just hold on to it for 4 to 5 years,
Yeah.
parang nabawi mo na yung capital mo, 'di ba? And then of course it fluctuates a little bit here and there. Then you make money. So yeah, I mean it's a buy in that respect. And of course it is a profitable company anyway. And I don't think it will become bankrupt anytime soon.
And then maybe just very quickly also, if you could comment on, I think maybe some of our listeners might be thinking of the impact of the purchase of CHP, the cement business. Do you think it has a
Mhm.
good potential, at least in terms for them?
I mean, okay, at least one of the reasons why CHP is losing money is because it has to pay a lot of royalties to the foreign owner. Okay, but if it doesn't have to pay those royalties anymore, that is a huge savings for them. And secondly, in a way, since it's being used as a cash cow by these foreign players, they they don't want to invest in capital expenditures or investments that would make it more profitable. But I would think that DMC and Semirara being in the construction business and mining also would know uh how to boost the profitability and the efficiency of those operations. So better chance of CHP making money, and I think the price at which they paid is quite cheap.
Okay, thanks, April. And then Juanes, why do you like it? Isn't it that resistance?
Yes. Well, I like it, but I'd maybe buy it on the pullbacks to support. But I think just look at the history. I mean, every time it has a big dividend gap, it massacres itself on the way down, but it recovers the entire range and more. And it did it again sometime in November, where you get a massive decline in a gap, recovered and did the same thing, and it's even in a higher high. So uh, it's kind of hard to neglect, right? So you want to just get in at the more appropriate price. So if you can even pick this up at 34 to 33.30, that would be a much better entry rather than where we are right now. But
Yeah.
if I've had it, I'd hold it for the meantime.
Yeah, I guess as April said, 17% dividends is just
Yeah,
too hard to ignore.
sure.
Okay, what's our next stop, guys? All right, okay. I think April mentioned something about AREIT earlier also. So do we like it or dislike it? One is likes and April also likes. Okay, maybe April can take the floor here and also at least maybe expound a little bit what she mentioned earlier.
Yeah, so AREIT, okay, let's not talk about that index inclusion first. The reason why we like it is because Ayala Land has um, a lot of rental properties that it's injecting into AREIT, which is why AREIT is able to give more cash dividends every year. So if you look at your dividend per share on an annual basis, it's been increasing. And another thing is Ayala Land has guaranteed these rentals. So the dividends that AREIT receives is, constant. Hindi ka matatakot. So Ayala Land is bearing the risk, the volatility of the dividends or the rental payments. So if there's an upside surprise on the rental income, Ayala Land will benefit.
Yeah.
Pero pag may downside, Ayala Land will be hurt, but AREIT will still continue to get the same cash dividends. And, and I think another thing is yun na nga, it will be added to the index.
Mhm.
And we know naman if a stock is added to the index or the PSEI index, which is already scheduled for this February. Historically, by the way, the index inclusion happens during the first week. So the PSE will probably announce the stocks that will be included in the index. in the last week of January. And when that happens, usually the share price of a stock that is going to be added to the PSCI index goes up. Okay, so that might be the reason why the share price of AREIT has been going up recently, because people are anticipating already that it will be added. So yun. A while ago, we talked about the strategy of what to do. So this is what happens when a stock is added to the index. Investors who own it, who are very lucky, should sell on the last day of the index inclusion. Let's say the deadline is February 5. I'm just making this up. I don't know when it is. But let's say they say it's February 5. So you have to enter your sell order February 4 or February 5. Basta sell everything muna. Kasi usually what happens after the index inclusion date, the stock will go down first. And then you just wait for it to go down first before you buy it back.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you for that, April. And I guess maybe since a lot of people were also interested in knowing about Ayala Land, could you already also definitively say that there should be more preference today already with regards to, because it's also not only Ayala that has REITs. So Robinsons also has REITs, Mega World has REITs. Are we in that phase where when you're thinking of buying a property company, especially, and as you were also saying, the mature earning assets are being injected into all of the REITs, is it time to do an about face? That the focus should be more on REITs now rather than the actual property companies?
I don't think naman it's always that case eh.
Okay.
Pero kasi pag titignan mo yung story, okay, ako, I mean, if I look at the REITs kasi, the value is being unlocked eh. So, di ba, at least I'm being paid.
Yeah.
But if I own the property company, usually because they're growing, they're expanding, they're doing capex here and there, they don't pay. So hindi na-unlock yung value. That's why, I mean, at this stage, REITs may seem more attractive, especially with an oversupply happening. But of course, let's say if, parang ano yan eh, pag di ba malakas yung economy, you'd rather own stocks than bonds, because bonds, steady lang yung income, tapos may upside in terms of capital appreciation. And others. So it depends. But at this point, it looks like the REITs are more attractive because people are very risk averse. They want something more sure.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that, April. Juanes, on the technicals.
Technicals still look good. We see an uptrending channel there. It did hit the high band, and that's why it's making a reaction. But I agree with April. In addition to the index, is going to be a big boost. The only thing I'm going to add to what she said is you guys also have to keep in mind that the design of the AREIT is a stock not to be traded, but to be able to hold for the dividend. So that means it's going to tighten the supply. And with it being an index stock, and you will have a constant flow of money to buy index stocks, particularly from index funds, I really think that these are all plus points for AREIT. So get the you got to include this into your portfolio.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Juanes. Okay. Let's try to move through faster with at least the other stocks. Okay. So AC, one of the country's biggest conglomerates. Do we like or dislike? Can we see our paddles? Oh, okay. Oh, I'm surprised. April said she dislikes. Okay, maybe the like, I'll explain Juanes' position is probably also because it's at the low end of the range.
Yeah.
How about on April's side? So why do you dislike AC?
Okay. Ganito yan eh. Kasi it's cheap, earnings are going up. But the thing is, if you notice how it moved recently, what happens is investors will buy Ayala Land first. So if Ayala Land is cheap, and the other subsidiaries like BPI, ACEN, if they're all cheap, they will buy those first. And this is going to be the laggard play. Eh, mura kasi ngayon yung iba eh. So they'll probably buy the others first before AC. So there's time for us to buy AC, but not right now.
Okay, thanks, April. I guess what she's trying to say there is it's really more of the sequence. Mauna maaakit yung subsidiaries before the holding company. Okay, can we see the next one? All right, okay. Yeah, the first bank that we Metro Bank. Sige, this should be interesting. Can we see our paddles? Okay, one is dislikes and April likes. Okay, so another mixed result. Sige, April first and then one is.
Yeah, so I talked about Metro Bank being one of the top three banks to benefit from stronger loan demand. And of course, yun na nga, given its high capital adequacy position, potential to give a surprise special cash dividend. So, based on the regular cash dividend, the dividend yield is already 4%. Plus, of course, attractive valuations.
Yeah. So April, the 4%, that's just the regular hit.
Regular,
Any special.
yes.
So if my special, I remember the past several years, the yield hit as high as 9 to 10%, right? Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
basta mataas, baka umabot ng mga 7, 6, gano'n.
Okay. All right. Okay. Maybe for one is I'll also try to frame the question. Doesn't it look like it's at support? So how come the paddle is red?
Yes, it looks like it's at support, but trend line has been broken. Your 200-day has been broken. It's coming off a consolidation, and I saw a very fast decline back in the last move. I mean, these are not signs of accumulation, right? I mean, it shows that there's a hastiness in terms of the selling. Although I'm really hoping that that dividend prospect can thwart it. Perhaps if it can rally back above 72, then I can change it back into a range trade. But right now, I'd rather be a little bit more defensive.
Okay.
Because if I'm wrong, that's back to 64 or 62, and I'd rather not pay that price yet.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks for that, Juanis. Okay, can we see the next stop? All right, Jollibee. Okay, looks like a fresh breakdown there. Can we see our paddles? One is dislikes. Okay, but April likes. All right, maybe we can do the technicals first since that's more clear in the chart. Why do we dislike it?
Okay, so you're in the middle of the range, and it's like you just said, it's broke down from a pattern. Might just need more time to be able to find a heavier area of support. So I'd like to give it more time to be able to seek that out. Major support between 237 and 216. And if you look at that very wide rectangular range I've drawn in the chart, or you're just halfway down. So unless we see a higher low, I would assume that it might come lower. So right now I'll stay on the defensive side.
Okay, thanks, Juanis. How about April?
Yeah, so fundamentally, the reasons why we like it is, of course, successful operations, turnaround of Smash Burger, the successful expansion of the Jollibee restaurants, of course, in the US. And, it has outperformed its peers, surprisingly, during the first 9 months of 2024. Other restaurants were challenged, but Jollibee showed strong top-line growth, improving margins. So doing well. Plus, of course, we like its new acquisition, Compost Coffee. Its entry into the coffee business is actually something that we like. Although, I'm thinking about why are investors potentially selling it. Well, maybe relatively speaking, it's more expensive than other consumer companies. So maybe that's the reason why they're selling it. But if you look at if you're looking for a good bottom-up story, Jollibee has it.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, thanks, April. So I guess like also for our audience, I guess just to help marry the views. So for a fundamental stance, I think April likes it. Juanis likes it technically. So I think what that just means is we have to wait for prices to go at more recognizable areas of support before we could be aggressive in buying it. So like as Juanis mentioned there, 237, then 216. Those could be the ideal entry spots for a stock like Jollibee. Could we see the next issue, please? All right, URC. Okay, yeah, I think a lot of people might be interested with this one given the declines. Okay, wow, both red. I think this is one of the few times I've seen two reds here. Sige. Yeah, maybe Yeah, maybe Juan is first because I guess that's more clear, and then April.
Well, I don't like, again, the hasty decline coming from resistance and breaking recent lows are not exactly ideal technical aspect, even if we're coming closer to a supportive area. Um, I'd rather this find its floor first before I attempt to be able to buy it. So buying this is what we call catching a falling knife, and I'd rather not get hurt doing so. Let it fall down to the floor and show me it's not falling down anymore, and then I'll pick it up.
Yeah, it's a falling knife. Okay, how about April?
Okay, so the earnings of Jollibee were disappointing the past few quarters, and it's due to largely due to the sugar business. Okay, depressed sugar prices and high milling cost. And then on the branded business, I think the coffee business again is losing market share because of intensifying competition. And well, coffee prices are going up, which is also bad for it. Yun, that's it. But
Yep.
of course,
All right.
valuations are cheap.
Yeah, valuations are cheap. And I guess maybe the question here eventually, which we might be thinking, is at what price will the valuations eventually be too hard to also ignore? Because as we know, this is really one of the blue chip companies also. All right. Anyway, let's go.
Yeah. Oo. I mean, it's quite interesting that you talk about that. But, kasi 'di ba, pag nag-aaral tayo ng finance, kaya sinasabi na may DCF tayo is because, I mean, if a company is at the phase where they can't grow their earnings, they should be paying more cash dividends. But
Yep.
unfortunately, they're not. So,
All right. Okay. Yeah, maybe if they increase their payout. Okay, can we see the the next stock, please? Okay. All right. BDO. Do we like or dislike BDO? 1, 2, 3. One is likes and April likes. Okay, maybe just short sentence as to why you both like. April.
biggest bang, lower interest rates mean faster loan growth.
Okay.
So, faster earnings growth again.
All right. One is.
Well, unlike Metrobank, I think the technicals still are generally still very much into an upward trend. It's just in the short term we're seeing some the last few stages of the selling, and if you look at their areas I've identified between 137 132, it's not too far off from the low sides of that range, and I think those might be better areas to be able to buy a BDO for a range trade and a potential rally.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Can we see the next stock, please? All right. Okay. Okay, another property giant. SM Prime. Can we see, do we like or dislike? One is likes. Okay, and April likes. Sorry, one is likes and April dislikes. Okay, I think okay, maybe April could clarify also why she dislikes SM Prime.
Yeah, I mean, it's just general negative sentiment on property companies. But between Ayala Land and SM Prime, I like SM Prime more because SM Prime is predominantly a mall operator, and the outlook for malls is better compared to residential and offices.
Okay, I think if just in case some of the audience might ask, and I think it's been much anticipated that SMPH REIT that they were supposed to have, if ever they're able to come up with that this year, do you think that could be a good catalyst to help the stock go up?
It might actually be bad because SM Prime again doesn't pay a lot of cash dividends, but having a REIT would be another way to own the malls and to earn cash dividends out of those.
Okay.
But 'di ba I mean, we came out with the daily which they quoted the Hansi in saying that, oh, we're not pushing through with the REIT, and it has been indefinitely postponed.
Okay. All right. And then one is?
I'll just use the same reason I did with Ayala Land, just for a technical rebound. Um, and I agree with April. Just in case that they come up with their own REIT. The problem is simple, right? If you have two issues representing roughly the same conditions, there's a diffusion on the funds flow, and I think the people who are getting a better dividend return might probably re-angle there as against this, right? So that could be a potential setback.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Juanes. Okay, so there's I was told there's just 5 remaining stocks here. So we covered the top 10 requested. Yeah, maybe we could just speed through
Okay.
the last five in the interest of time so that we could proceed to Q&A. Can we see the last five issues? Okay. Like or dislike Avoidance Power. One is likes, April likes. Okay, so both good. Can we see the next one? Okay, ACEN. Okay, this might be a bit more controversial. Okay. Like or dislike? All right. One is likes and April dislikes. Okay, I would like to hear the why April does not like it as much because I think I saw in her deck earlier she likes power companies.
Lang, because more execution risk, because a lot of its projects are more forward. Therefore, we first of all, it has to borrow money pa. So, and then raise capital. And then, of course, we don't know at what price they will be able to lock in the power. So it will be more vulnerable to WESM price volatility.
Okay. All right. So execution risk. All right. Can we see the next stock, please? All right. Pure Gold. I think this was one of April's picks. Like or dislike? April likes and Juanes also likes. Okay, great. All right. Okay. Can we see the next one? All right. Okay. How about Monde? So IPO'd a few years ago. Way below IPO price. Like all right. One is dislikes. April likes. All right. Okay. Maybe one is why do you dislike it at such low prices?
Well, again, the fast slide, breaking of the recent low, that opens up a potential slide to 640 being the next target of the range. So that's quite considerable. So I'd rather just again stay away first until I can see a much better fleshed out bottom up here before I would move for a range trade buy or an oversold rebound.
Okay. All right. Then maybe I guess just for April to also clarify, because normally when investors look at it, I mean, there's a tendency to probably lump the two together. Monde and URC, they kind of do the same thing. So how come like URC dislike but Monde like?
Yeah, because Monde, okay. If you look at the earnings, mas okay siya. The noodle business is doing okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yung URC naman, one of the major reasons why it's not doing well is the sugar business, which of course Monde doesn't have. Although I agree that the concern here naman is the meat alternative business or corn. But then again, I mean, if you look at that, they are taking measures to turn around that business, and they know that it's gonna be tough. So they're gonna work on reducing costs so that at least the business is gonna be cash flow positive. And if you look at where it is right now, compare it to where it was early last year, a lot has changed. The profits have increased substantially, but I don't know why it's still trading where it is at.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sige. Yeah, thanks for that, April. Do we still have any more? All right, Converge. Yeah, I think this could be our last one. Do we like or dislike Converge? Yep, one is likes, April likes. Yeah, I think so. It looks like it's very strong technically, and then I recall April did mention it as one of her stock picks. Do we still have any more? Any more top requested stocks?
I think that's it.
Okay, all right, no more. Okay, so this is the summary of our top requested stocks. So again, yeah, I just like to remind again everyone, please note that these recommendations are based on what they could see as of the moment, and these could potentially change with new information. So historically, the calls of our experts have performed well, especially if they are both aligned. Yeah, but these are no means a guarantee of future results. So yeah, kindly take note of that.